Weldstorian presents History of Rome Part 2, The Rise of Romulus. In 753 BCE, after the death of his brother Remus, Romulus sought the assent of the people of the new city to be crowned their king. With the backing of his grandfather Numitor, the rightful ruler of Alba Longa, Romulus addressed the people of the nascent city of Rome and convinced them to accept him as their leader. Drawing on divine omens that appeared favorable, Romulus officially accepted the crown, marking the beginning of Rome's legendary monarchy. It is said that these omens, a pair of eagles flying overhead, convinced the people that he was the chosen ruler, favoring him over all others. Romulus's first major action as king was the fortification of the Palatine Hill, which would become the heart of the city of Rome. He oversaw the construction of a defensive wall, the Murus Romuli, which encircled the city, and performed a sacrificial offering to the gods, seeking divine protection and favor for the new city. Romulus then marked the city's boundaries by plowing a furrow around the Palatine Hill, a symbolic act that not only delineated the space for the new settlement, but also fulfilled a religious ritual. This act was later known as the Pomerium, the sacred boundary that would be carefully maintained throughout the history of Rome. The next challenge Romulus faced was the issue of population growth. The city of Rome, founded by a small group of warriors, had an overwhelmingly male population, and its survival and growth required women to marry and produce future generations. Yet the neighboring tribes, particularly the Sabines, were unwilling to allow their daughters to marry the Romans, fearing their people would be diluted by the new city. To solve this problem, Romulus devised a daring plan. He invited the neighboring tribes to a grand festival and games in honor of the god Neptune. During the event, Romulus and his followers seized the Sabine Women, an event that later became known as the Rape of the Sabine Women. The women were abducted and carried off to Rome, despite the protests of their families. This act of aggression sparked outrage among the Sabines and other tribes, but Romulus knew that the survival of his city depended on these unions. This abduction led to war. The Sabines, led by King Titus Tatius, gathered their forces and marched toward Rome, seeking revenge. A fierce battle ensued between the Romans and the Sabines, but Romulus and his people managed to hold their ground. During this conflict, Romulus famously captured the spolia opima, the armor of the Sabine king of Canina. This made him the first Roman general to claim such an honor, a rare and prestigious distinction reserved for victorious leaders. As the war between the Romans and the Sabines reached its peak, a surprising intervention occurred. The women who had been abducted by Romulus stepped forward and pleaded for peace, urging their fathers and brothers to cease hostilities and embrace their new Roman husbands. These women, now part of Roman society, acted as mediators between the two sides, highlighting their loyalty to both their families and their new city. Their plea for peace was accepted, and Romulus and Tatius reached an agreement to rule together as co-kings, uniting the two peoples. This union laid the foundation for the future expansion of Rome, which would eventually incorporate many surrounding tribes into the growing city. Romulus was not content to rule just the city. He had ambitions to organize and strengthen Rome into a lasting power. He divided the people into three major tribes, the Ramnes, Titienses, and Luceres, each with their own responsibilities in both military and civil affairs. These tribes were further divided into curiae, or wards. which ensured that every Roman was tied to the city's military and administrative structures. Romulus also created the Celeres, a highly elite force of 300 cavalrymen who acted as his personal bodyguard and were responsible for maintaining order within the city. In order to foster Rome's growth, Romulus took several important actions. He established an asylum on the Palatine Hill for outcasts and fugitives from other regions, offering refuge to those seeking a fresh start. This became a key element of Roman expansion, attracting a diverse population and providing a new opportunity for those who had been marginalized in their own societies. Romulus also made a decree that outlawed infanticide, ensuring that children would be raised to contribute to the future of Rome. Despite the progress he made, Romulus's reign was not without external threats. The growing power of neighboring tribes, such as the Fidenates, the Vai, and others prompted military conflicts that Romulus faced head-on. In one famous campaign, Romulus led the Romans to defeat the Fidenates, punishing them for their raids on Roman territory. He also conducted retaliatory raids against the Vaii, a powerful Etruscan city-state, ensuring that Rome's borders were secure and expanding. Romulus's reign spanned 37 years, during which he successfully expanded the city's borders and solidified Rome's position as a growing power in the region. However, his death remains one of Rome's most mysterious and legendary events. According to various ancient sources, Romulus vanished during a violent storm while reviewing his troops on the Campus Martius. Some historians believe Romulus was murdered by jealous senators who feared his growing power, while others claim that he was taken up to the heavens by his divine father, Mars, as a sign of his divinity. Romulus's legacy endured long after his death. As Rome's founder, Romulus was forever linked to the city's origins, and his image as the divine king Quirinus lived on in the hearts of the Romans. His name was invoked during many important ceremonies, and he was considered the embodiment of Roman strength, leadership, and military prowess. The legendary reign of Romulus set the stage for the meteoric rise of Rome. His actions, founding the city, establishing its military structures, forging alliances, and securing its borders, cemented his place as the mythical father of Rome. Under Romulus's guidance, Rome's foundational principles of unity, expansion, and divine protection were established. In the next video, we will look at the reign of the second king of Rome, Numa Pompilius. To make sure you receive it, like and subscribe so you can get early access. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.